Hey everybody, Major General Tony Cucolo, Commanding General, 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield. And if you're watching me right now, you're in the ADAG. You've made it. You're home. You got off that long flight, you're stretching your legs, and you're going to either walk through those hangar doors or you're going to walk across the green grass of Cottrell Field to the waiting arms of loved ones, family, friends, and just a bunch of wonderful people who are so happy to have you back. And so congratulations on making it back safe. Making it back safe. And that's why I'm here talking to you right now. I want to give you one last blast with some directives, and I'll be brief, so listen up. One last blast on safety and your behavior immediately following the welcome home ceremony. Look, why am I doing this? After OIF 1, after we kicked in the door, invaded Iraq, came home, we didn't lose anybody. But after OIF 3, it was January 2006, we had our first welcome home ceremony. 12 hours later, I had a soldier wrap his car around a tree and kill himself because he fell asleep at the wheel. He was pushing it. I don't want, and ever since those deployments, we have lost soldiers upon redeployment during the 14 days of reintegration and then during the first 90 days back. So that's the purpose of me talking to you. Now listen up. Here are your directives. Number one, after the welcome home ceremony for the first 24 hours, you will not get behind the wheel of a vehicle, any vehicle. You will not ride a motorcycle for sure. But there's no driving for the first 24 hours after the welcome home ceremony. The second thing is there's no travel outside a 100-mile radius from your home base, whether that be Hunter or Stewart. There's no travel 100 miles outside a radius from your home station. And that is up until you depart on block leave. Yes, we'll let you go on emergencies for sure, but I need you to just stay close. I need you to moderate your behavior, your actions, just for those first 12 to 14 days before you go on block leave. The second thing is, if you own a motorcycle or plan on purchasing a motorcycle, more importantly, if you own one right now, you cannot ride that motorcycle until you've been through refresher training. You must go through refresher training before you even think about riding your bike again. I'm worried about 4 primary things for you right now. One is fatigue. Do you remember EML? I mean, I don't know about you. When I came back, it took me a day or 2, maybe even 3, I'm old, to get back on the clock. You've got to get your sleep patterns and your body back on a stateside clock before you start picking up the pace of your personal behavior and what you want to do. Just remember, you're more tired than you think you are. The next thing is driving skills. One of the reasons why I say, hey, stay out from behind the wheel for the first 24 hours is we want you to get through the first 24 hours of fatigue and excitement of being back. But more importantly, you've been driving MRAPs or flying helicopters or gun trucks, or you've been driving everything except a high-performing, very responsive, privately owned vehicle. Take that into account the first time you do get behind the wheel after the 24-hour moratorium. That car is faster, it is more responsive, and these Georgia streets and highways are nothing like the trash-strewn, potholed locations of Iraq and Afghanistan. You might even, if you are an MRAP driver or a gunner, you might be looking for things on the side of the road. Take that into account. That's okay. I mean, that is part of coming back into a peaceful society that we have here in the United States. Just be advised, your driving skills are not what they were before you departed. Take it slow. I want you to be overly cautious in your POV. That is the biggest killer of my soldiers after deployment, POVs. Next thing is alcohol. Now look, unless you've been violating General Order Number 1 on a regular basis, and I didn't know about it, your tolerance for alcohol is not what it used to be. So if you decide to drink, take that slow too. Small quantities, understand that it does different things to your body now than maybe what you might have been used to before deployment. Be careful with the use of alcohol. Lastly, guns. You've been packing, you've been carrying a gun since you deployed. You've been carrying a gun for 12 months, guns and ammunition. You're used to it. Guns and soldiers are two things that go together. You're back home. in civilian society, a civilian society where there's rule of law. You must obey all gun laws. I know that either maybe on EML or right now, you've been dreaming about going out and purchasing that weapon that you always wanted to own. Okay, if you do that, I say again, follow all gun laws for purchase and possession. Very important. I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to end up in jail for an inappropriate possession charge. And then, my goodness, use your head. Use your head when there's alcohol involved and anybody with a firearm. Last deployment, coming home from the surge in '08, I lost several soldiers, 2 to death, 3 to incarceration for a mix of alcohol and firearms that they purchased right after their deployment. Don't let that happen to you. Do not let that happen to a buddy. Just be very careful. Think twice about the gun purchase. Think twice about your use of any weapon that you do buy. Last part. Here's my last 2 shots for you. You live under the warrior ethos. You have redeployed safely. You're back. Now, in this change of environment, what has not changed is the need to take care of each other. That never leave a fallen comrade applies right now too. So, all the things I said about driving, about travel, about fatigue, alcohol, firearms, all that, if you see a buddy going astray on any of that, intervene, grab him, say no. Somebody's drinking and there's a weapon, lock the weapon up. You know what I'm talking about. Somebody wants to drive and they're tired, don't let them. Look out for each other. Absolutely critical. And the last part is, what I've been talking about are things that can save your life, but also you're back in and among American society. You should be incredibly proud of who you are and what you have done. Let your behavior reflect the pride that you have in what you've done. Look, you're back from giving 52 million people, if I add the population of Afghanistan and Iraq, you've given 52 million people their best shot at freedom and self-determination than they have ever had in their lives. That's something to be proud of. The American people are proud of you. And so now, in the name of surviving redeployment, in the name of living up to the Army values and the high standards of behavior in the profession of arms, and in the name of responding to the pride the American people have in you, let's have a safe reintegration. Watch what you do. Take care of yourself and each other. And I wish you the best. I'll see you as soon as I can. Rock of the morning.